Okay, so my name is Victoria. I go by the Rapid Renegade. I am a certified Psyche facilitator, subconscious and energetic specialist, and I'm also certified in the Colby. And I am with Brooklyn, who I met because of the Colby and being at the conference last year. And my Colby is 5491. And I would love for you, Brooklyn, to introduce yourself and your Colby.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm a 7482. So with that, being a quick start fact finder, and I'm Colby certified as well. And it was beautiful meeting you last year, and we just connected so easily. It was so much fun, being the quick starts that we are, the environment we're in. And what I do is I basically have used Colby to understand communication pathways, making sure that people are able to communicate to the next person so that they can take action as quickly as possible and with the least amount of stress so they can actually just get the job done towards a shared outcome.
I love that. You and I were talking because the Colby conference is coming back up,
Yeah,
and you presented last year. I'm presenting this year,
yeah,
and I'm talking all about how, you know, knowing our Colby is an amazing, productive tool, especially for communication, like you mentioned.
yeah,
But when we are flooded with emotion or experiences or traumas or limiting beliefs, our Colby isn't necessarily enough to get us out of it. And I want to kind of rewind a couple months when you messaged me on Facebook. And we'd been obviously in communication for a while. And you had said something to the effect of, I haven't worked in a year. I've been so depressed. And I immediately stopped everything I was doing. I was like, call me immediately. We did a
yeah.
little session. I was in Seattle at the time. And I would
Um,
love for you to kind of explain where you were in that moment and going through that process with me and how kind of Colby was almost, we talked about it, like it was almost like masked in a way. And it
yeah,
really couldn't kind of come to life for your problem solving ability. So can you kind of rewind and share a bit
sure.
of that?
Sure. It's really difficult to even share this and talk about it. This is such a big topic and not expected. So, and I can find that, we have all these amazing tools. And for me, I'm sold out for Colby. Colby is everything. I don't, previous to meeting you and going through your process, I didn't think anyone needed anything else to do what they do because they had a strategy that they could outwork and achieve results.
Yeah.
That was it. However, what I found that I was in this loop of constantly researching more. I mean, I was totally in my Colby, but I was in a deep downward spiral. So I would research and gather more and more and more knowledge, new and novel information, see the big picture, implement all these strategies, but it was so incredibly forced
Mm.
to get to the outcome. And I felt like I was just not getting the quality of outcome that I wanted. So I was engaging all of the knowledge that I had. I was engaging with all the space, but I was just felt like I was on a treadmill, just in that one space, not really progressing anywhere. And the depression came was I couldn't find a solution to the outcome that I wanted. Um, I couldn't find a way to actually make it happen, even though, right? So it was incredibly difficult. And I had, it wasn't your usual blow up. I had a blow up of such magnificent proportions,
Yeah.
right? I mean, so huge that I was like you described, and that's probably the best way to describe it. I was flooded and flooded in such a way that I felt like I was trying to utilize a really fantastic, um, you know, possibly diet and exercise regime when realistically I was bleeding out and needed to go to the ER, right? That's kind of
I don't mean to laugh at that, but that's like such a It's such an accurate analogy for me because like you mentioned, it's like we can know what our mental strengths are and we can know how to communicate in a way that works for us. But when we are flooded, when we have that hole in the bucket, when we are in those loops, it's like
Yeah.
we can't Colby our way out.
No, you can't. Though, that being said, as always, being the advocate I am, I think you need your Colby to
Yeah.
even understand how to, it's a combined approach because, again, we're the three parts of our mind. We're not just one element. And Colby just isn't enough in these situations. And I mean, it would be like hiring someone to do, a very technical position and they've had no education, right? You
Right.
just would never do it.
Right.
And this I feel like is a missing portion and other things that identify your strengths and your personality under the effective. I mean, that's all very nice of, I think, a very exterior things that you can look at and go, oh, that feels good. However, when you go into this deep dive into your belief systems and really rewire this aspect, it just creates such harmony between your cognitive and your belief systems, these subconscious activities. And then suddenly, everything that your personality desires to express, everything that your logic mind desires to create and consider, all comes into beautiful alignment. And then you're a powerhouse,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I'm jumping the gun here because can't imagine why. However, um, the difference in me in 4 sessions is profound.
Mhm.
And not just my productivity. I'm on this wonderful upward spiral. And instead of it being a loose cannon, like if you could imagine a box of fireworks with all of the fireworks just going off in any direction, I feel like I'm now having the experience of a beautifully curated display of fireworks that's set to the most amazing symphony. And I'm just, it's amazing. It's like, wow,
Yeah,
that's
I
what's
got
going
this little like image of like all of those fireworks going every which way and then like pointing downward as like you're propelled from it
Yes.
versus like in the chaos of it.
Yeah, yeah, and plain dangerous, really, right? You
Yeah.
set up a box of fireworks with no directional strategy or plan around that, you're a mess. And I just feel like this is such a crucial element to bring to the table, and especially for the people we work with, right?
Yeah.
We offer them promises. And there's a level of guarantee, certainly in a professional setting, because we don't have as much emotional flooding in a professional setting. However, it still shows up, right? So it's really, really important, especially for the leaders of teams, to engage in this process.
Yeah. And so I would love for you to kind of dive into that in just a second of, knowing your Colby
Yeah.
and then kind of seeing where you were and what were some of the kind of more like aha moments for you when it came to unlocking that belief system and really tapping into the healing power of your subconscious mind and the beliefs that you held and the perceptions that you had?
Okay. Who knows how I'll answer this? um, There's a couple of things. My first thing, and I mentioned it to you before, was I was forced optimism,
Mm,
forced striving, forced, like I was doing things my way without a doubt. That's not the problem. But the application of my knowledge and in that effective space turning up, all of that was forced.
mm,
So a massive transformation and so quickly. And what I get surprised about is just how quickly it's like in the moment And I'm not into let's chat and talk about our feelings and let's have a big cry. But like, I don't want to do that. I don't have time for that nonsense.
Yeah,
It's
me either.
just useless, right? It's just, well,
That's
for
why
some
I do.
people,
That's why I do this is because I don't
yeah,
have patience and I don't care to go into all the details. I just want to figure it out and be gone with it
and
and
move
move on
on.
with my life.
Absolutely. I don't need to relive the stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's a huge point. So one is that my aha moment is that one, it's so quickly transformed, huge. The difference in my approach, instead of it being this effective engine, this space that was inside of me, no longer felt like an imposter.
Mm,
Um, I have now this alignment between the words that I would intellectually trained to use and actually the words of my heart.
mm.
Like there's a connection now between those and they're real together. And I feel like I have a difference in that space to how I turn up and how I approach. No longer is it, okay, how do I structure this conversation to make sure that I use all of the tools and strategies that I have to ensure the outcome that I want, but inside I'm about to blow up and I want to die, to it just flows. It's like that's actually okay. There's no thought in it. It just is.
Yeah, we just
Um,
kind of removed all the resistance in the
yeah,
system so that
yeah.
you
And
can
I didn't
truly
realize
have
it was
that.
so easy. I
Mhm.
didn't realize that it could be so. And other ha-ha moments as far as in a leadership position, um, I think it's a really hugely common situation, especially for quick start, or me, right? Really, let's face it, quick start fact finders, big picture, low follow through. I was not a university graduate. Yes, have I done most of my psychology degree? I've done most of it. Have I done most of my business degree? I've done most of it, but it was just so behind. And so, inside of that, needing to be an expert, I could understand very quickly the value of my experience and, not to go into the human design information too much here because it's a whole nother topic that you
Yeah.
could speak, right? But understanding those things um, made me realize my value and just that resolution of not worthy, that belief on its own
Mm.
has been phenomenal. So if, everyone, if you can do, actually, you don't have a choice. I think you need to. Sorry,
I'm just going to tell you the way that it is. Book
yeah,
a
that's it.
It's so funny, like y- you brought up human design, and I think it's an important aspect is because the way I look at things is I look at energetics, which is your human design, it's your innate gifts, and Colby, which is how your mind works, it's how your mental strengths are. And it's the synergy between those two mixed with what beliefs and perceptions do you hold about yourself and the world around you. And I don't have kind of a structured process in which we go through because I really let your subconscious guide the session because I believe you know best and you know what you need and I'm just like the driver. But
And what you think you need
yeah,
is very different to what you need.
right.
Right, because that's from an entirely different part. It's like you're tapping into this other stuff that you didn't know is there. And that sounds woo-woo, but it's not.
Mhm.
Because it's like you can't guess someone's Colby,
Right.
right? You can't guess somebody's Colby because it lives in the subconscious.
Mm,
It has its own expression and can only come out of the self as, the questions we answer through that index. We know that as facilitators and consultants with Colby. I think it's very much the same, and that's why there's such beautiful alignment here too, is that when you go through this process, at least has been my experience, I started out with a logic thought that seemed really plausible. I'd like to work with this. And through a couple of just really clarifying questions, I was able to self-report to be able to generate the truth and the priority issues, right? And the priority cause um, without real effort,
Yeah.
because there's just a way that you have with exploring those things naturally, which I think is amazing. So yeah,
So just kind of final thoughts.
yeah.
Little clip that we can put into my presentation around um, uncovering and realizing what limiting beliefs we have, how to get to the root cause of them, how to reframe them, repattern them, and really rally into new action where we can really start to dispel some of these things. Um, what in your mind is the benefit of why people need to do this along with the Colby?
I'm giggling because you're asking me to give you an elevator pitch. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'm tapping out. My seven doesn't allow that. I mean, look how many times it's taken me to just explain that I can't. Okay, I'm gonna recap in my brain and
Okay.
come back. Okay, what I think is super important is that we have this amazing tool and understanding of ourselves, and we help provide that for others, which is essential. It's essential. However, it's equally essential to dive into the subconscious of the belief systems that we have created across time for whatever reason, because in the same way that our Colby, we will burn out if we go against it because it seeks to be expressed. The belief systems that we hold in our subconscious seek confirmation.
Mhm.
And so we will actually use almost our Colby as a dark force towards, achieving this belief.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
might logic our space and go, well, we're doing all these things. Why am I not getting the results? Well, if you've engaged long enough, these strategies and knowing yourself, and you're still not getting the results that you desire, certainly on a feeling level, but and a relationship level, but everything is feeling in a relationship. We do everything for that.
Mhm.
It's important to go into the belief system structures that we've created. And what you do, unlike my psychologist I was seeing for untold amount of time, and I would just get more and more frustrated. Can't believe I was handing over wads of like money to this person. Um,
No, you were
but
doing the best you could with what you
I,
had.
I was, oh boy. I got to very quickly not relive because the subconscious mind knows no time. I didn't have to relive any of my trauma or experiences. And I just got to go, let's rewire this.
Yeah,
And
resolve it.
yeah, resolve, rewire, restructure, create new meaning, and accelerate. It's just been like a nitrous acid. What is that thing you
Yeah.
press
And
on
yeah, they put it
the
on
Fast
fire.
and the Furious? Yeah, yeah, like just press that button. This presses the button,
Yeah.
right? This is your second tank. So I think it's amazing.
I love that. It's the second tank. I love that so much. And like what you said is that because our belief systems and our perceptions of the world, they're always seeking to prove themselves.
Yeah,
If we're realizing there's a disconnect in what we want to achieve and what we're actually able to achieve, or relationally, or feeling, or success or satisfaction in life, if there's any disconnect there, it's because there's an underlying emotional belief or
yeah.
perception that needs to be adjusted. And so, we talk to a lot of leaders where the Colby has been so fantastic and it gives them such a simple way of communication and understanding. And they still have that imposter syndrome, like you mentioned,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like diving into these limiting beliefs, diving into what is the root cause, what do we actually perceive about it, and then completely shifting it in such a short amount of time allows you to have that harmony, to have that um,
Mhm.
cognitive dissonance closed so that
Yeah.
you mentioned, the words that are coming out of my mouth that I intellectually know and my heart are aligned. And it becomes effortless and you're not
Yeah.
having to try so hard at life. And I loved the way that you put that.
Thank you. I just think, you know, Colby gives you the do, and it's so essential to, in my opinion, to look at how you do and see if that alignment shift in the doing is going to be enough with your cognitive,
Yeah.
right, to achieve an outcome. If you're still having difficulty in that space, and to be honest with you, I think most people are still not achieving exactly their design. So I don't think this is an exemption for anyone. Ask anyone, have they got trauma in their life? Don't have to dig deep, right? Everyone has a story. So
Yeah.
I think that this extra component now just allows you to have the do, but the alignment
Hmm.
to do and achieve those outcomes. I think it's really special and extraordinary. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm just so happy to have had the opportunity to walk you through it and to then be able to participate in all of this magic that your quick start fact finding now is really like it's really ignited and you're creating this amazing platform and resources and education for people and it's going to help so many people. But to witness this short amount of time where you were just so flooded and didn't know where to start and didn't know where to focus, and now it's like you're totally aligned in your purpose and
Uh,
it just feels really magnificent.
Thank you. On that note, for the 12 months, I still generated a lot of information for the platform, right? I still
Right.
was doing things, but it stopped. It just didn't go anywhere. Whereas now it's empowered my ability to take action.
Mm.
And it's such full forward action the way I was designed to be, right?
That's such a beautiful ending, the way you were designed to be. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Cool.
much. And I'm just really looking forward to kind of the next phase and seeing what you create and helping more people through this because like you
Yeah.
said, we all need it. So
Thank you.